Hello, welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour. We've got a little bit of news. We've got a big weekend ahead of us. We've got some screenshots that I could show you of some rewards coming for the new Monster Player Reward track and more. So quite a bit of news to get to and plenty of time for your Q&A and chat as well. Hope you're having a good weekend. We have got a big weekend planned right here on Twitch. So let me get over to that and start talking about it. The main thing I want to mention is that tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/LotraStream, we're going to be doing our Extra Life live stream marathon. And it goes all the way until midnight. And we have a schedule over on Lotra.com. It's going to be on social media and other things as well, but it's become a little more difficult over the last couple of years to do time-based stuff on, say, X and Facebook and that, because you just don't get that stuff in any kind of chronological order these days. So instead, I really want to just direct you this weekend to our website. That'll be Lotra.com. And our Discord, the official Lotra Discord, to really get who's doing what when, what's being given out. You want to chat about anything happening during the Extra Life Marathon, join us over on Twitch here, because it's going to be a huge day. It's always a huge day for Extra Life. Big crowds, tons of people. If you're hanging out playing Lotra and feeling a little online social, go and check us out over on LotraStream, because it's always a good time, and you're going to probably win codes for something, or at least you might. Anyway, it kicks off at 7 a.m. with Little Redhead and B4. At 9 a.m., Red Baron takes over. 11 a.m. is Kip. 1 p.m., Winnie's Musings. 3 p.m., Elga Lajwin. I'm joining at 5 o'clock. I'll be behind the scenes. I'm producing basically this for both LotraStream and Dungeons & Dragons Online. Both are doing 7 a.m. to midnight. So I will be a busy community manager tomorrow. It's a work day, but it's a fun day because we're raising money for Extra Life. This is raising funds to help sick kids. Team Standing Stone Games is donating to the Boston Children's Hospital. Some other members of Team Standing Stone Games have designated their own hospitals. They're all Children's Miracle Network hospitals in the United States. And this funding goes to help families pay for treatment and such that otherwise is difficult to cover, and provide support services and a whole bunch more that we'll get more into tomorrow. But the main thing is we're doing our Extra Life live stream tomorrow, 7 a.m. to midnight, right here on twitch.tv/LotraStream. We'll be doing giveaways and such all day, all night, whole bunch of stuff going on. And then Extra Life. extra-life.org/team/Standing Stone Games. We kicked this off a week ago, and in that time, it's been pretty busy. Let me put this up on the screen here while I talk about it, but we've already had quite a few donations from folks. We're about halfway to our goal, if I can find it. Oops. Well, I'm not seeing it on this screen. Anyway, we're currently at 15,289. I've yet to set up the Extra Life widget in XSplit. I get to do that tonight. But anyway, of our $30,000 goal, and that means a whole bunch of you have already donated. So I want to make sure, because we do get questions every year from first-time donors and things like that, like, wait a second, what do I have to do? And how come I didn't get my stuff right away? And what's going on? So here's what's going on. Once you make a donation to Extra Life, go over to Lotra.com and you'll see a big link here, right? Once you donate, please fill out the following survey if you wish to receive incentives. And it'll be the picks from your community loot list and things like that. The reason this exists is because I need to know what to get you, and I need to have a way to get it to you. So this year anyway, we're still having you pick from a list, depending on how much you donate. Like $60 is 10 items, for example. And there's a survey. And I'm just going to click on this. We'll see if it even works. Oh, it works, but it opens up in my browser. Let me see if I can add this as a source and see if that works. Yes. So you'll click on over to really a survey. And the point of the survey is to explain this stuff to you in a different location while you're filling it out. But the main thing is this part. I need your email address. And the reason for that is I get a big spreadsheet like thing with your email address and your pics. And I'm just going plugging in like form messages and things like that, putting in the codes, sending it off to you. And then on your end, you'll redeem it through the Lotro store inside of the game. Same way you do like the weekly coupon, that kind of thing. And it'll deliver it into your inventory, or it'll grant you the title, or whatever it is that you got. It'll get it to you that way. But I need to have a way to get it to you because I don't have that connection through Extra Life itself because of the sort of weird way we do incentives in some ways, right? Because we let you pick from a long list and things like that. Email is far and away the best thing you could get me. It doesn't actually have to be your game account email either. I really don't care what email you give me. I just need to know what email to send you your stuff to. And if you're concerned about privacy and that's why I'm using an official SurveyMonkey. They do, they're a well regarded survey tool in that regard. But also just to let you know that your email is only being used to do this. It's not being retained outside of this. So, that's it. If you really can't give me your email, though, it's okay to contact me through Discord. But one of the things I've discovered is people are contacting me on Discord without filling out the survey. And I can't get you your stuff until you fill out the survey. And the reason for that is that while I can contact you through Discord to get you your messages, my Discord DM inbox is hefty, ever growing and constant. And the way Discord organizes messages, right? You got just that big long line of bubbles. And it's very quickly, if you send me a message with your Extra Life info today and I don't get to it for 2 weeks, there is no way I'm ever finding that message again. I'm sorry. So that's why we have a survey, so I can actually have it in, like, say, spreadsheet form, so I can actually just go through the list and get you your stuff. So give me your email, but if you can't get me your email, forum name is probably the second best, Discord's third best, but whatever you want to do, get me your info, and then in the coming weeks, I will get back to you. I roughly do about 30 to 50 a day once I really get cracking on it and get into the habit of just every night, just plug some of these out. Right now, this week has been setting it all up, getting all the coupon codes made, getting the live stream ready to go. The donations have started to come in. I've been answering questions from people, things like that. So it's probably not going to be until maybe Sunday evening, but at the very least Monday evening, I'm going to start going through the list. And last year there was about 700 of you. And so you just figure it takes a couple of weeks, somewhere between 3-ish weeks, to just sort of get through the list and get everyone all their stuff. But I'll do that. And the campaign runs through the end of the year. So, and I'm pretty easy to contact if you need to. So, because we'll get people afterwards. It's like, wait, I never filled out the survey, or wait a second, what do I need to do? I got whatever. We'll get it sorted. We're a generous folk here. And the new titles for 2025 are the Fashionable, the Unfashionable, and the Eyesore. These come from the old-fashioned Maven event. I had a question if the Eyesore procs the old quest to get the Hat of Shame, and the answer is it does not. The Fashion Maven back in the day was a singular CS agent that you could say went rogue, although they didn't go rogue because it was all okay. But it was a singular CS agent, just when they had a couple hours here and there, because of the way things were set up back then. They would do this event. So we're not in a position to really bring that quest back or anything. But the title is back for this year on the community loot list. And 7 a.m. to midnight, we're just going to have a great time right here on Twitch and fill out that survey after you donate. All right, moving on. I want to let you know about our schedule a little bit. I'm looking at our calendar for next week. We're currently looking at a next Bull Roar, potentially again on Monday. This Monday, it was like 5 o'clock before we did it, but this Monday we actually got Bull Roar open. which is a little bit earlier than historically we've been able to do the past couple of preview cycles. So we're on track to maybe do that again. Stay tuned on the Bull Roar forums. That's where you'll get all the actual opening and closing info. But we do have update 46, it looks like our 5th beta, and this would be for a new instance that'll be getting a preview here on Bull Roar this week. Also this week, we'll be doing a small game update. That'll be update 45.8. That'll be most likely on Wednesday. And there's not much public in it, but there's a little bit, and I'll get to that in just a second. The main thing is behind the scenes, we've got really some marketing and such work to help carry us through the end of the year. So various, perhaps e-commerce things that what might be coming down the road in the next couple of months are getting elements of it put into place in the game because of as we get towards the end of the year, the update cycles get fewer and fewer, so you have a little bit less opportunity. So sometimes you want to make sure you get stuff in before you need to use it, for example. And so some of that's going on in next week's patch. There's some things related to our next Patron's Coffer, perhaps. Things like that. But the other big bit for next week's game update is it's going to include the itemization for the 4th Monster Player reward track, which is set to debut the following day, 10 a.m. Eastern. So 10 a.m. Eastern on November 13th, we'll be having our 4th Monster Player reward track. And I'll be having an article on Lotro.com about that as well. I don't have it ready to show for you today, but I do have some text that I can provide, which is that it's called The Season of Wrath. And you can get into the Lotro store if you're visible to any Monster Play character. VIPs get a discount on the point cost of the reward track. And the Season of Wrath continues until 9:59 a.m. Eastern on January 1st. So through the end of the year, essentially. Completing the track awards Marta, which you'll use to claim said new rewards. There are some new skins. The Black Arrow gets the emerald-skinned Umbari Bold Harrier appearance. The War Leader gets the yellow Umbari Domed Chanter appearance. The Stalker gets the Horned Crystal Warg appearance. The Defiler gets the moderately infested blue-skinned Spider Clan Defiler appearance. I want to know who's the judge of that. What's the scale of infested? It's like, okay, you go over there because you're like 80%. Okay. Anyway, Black Mordor Reaver Horned Chieftain Orc appearance for the Reaver. The Weaver gets a two-face spinner appearance, and then there's some new cosmetic weapons. A March Effect Rust Devil appearance, main weapon Gundabad Axe, shield is the Lingris Shield, staff is a Bloody Cudgel. Then there's a new title called the Scornful Wrath, and a new seasonal portrait frame. So, each Monster Player reward track is planned to expire 50 days after it begins. The end date is listed in the track UI. You can buy the track up until 1 week before the end. And you can access the track with Shift plus I, or just looking for the reward track. All right, and then basically for those who don't know, nearly all daily quests in the Ettenmoors provide 1,000 XP. Some of the more difficult dailies contribute more XP to the reward track. Quests to build the gates or enhance gates at Lugazeg and Tirith Raw contribute a smaller amount of XP, and weekly quests do not contribute to advancement of the reward track. It takes about 20 quests to earn a pip on the Monster Player reward track. And you can use Mithril if you want. And the standard pip reward is 100 Marta. And then you get things at various tiers. It's a reward track. Before we move on, though, I didn't have which screenshot went for which everything, so I didn't want to it does put this all out here. But here's some pics of it. I can get this guy zoomed in just a little bit so that we can get this appearance a little bit stronger. But this is clearly not a professional marketing shot. This is, I believe, Orion going in-game in an internal client and grabbing a quick screenshot. But got this guy. We have got Oops. This guy. These screenshots are going to be in our article next week, but I haven't done all the work to, as you can see, kind of process and stage them yet. Because we've just had a busy week. This one. All right. There we go. This is clearly definition of moderately infested. Oh, and I think this is just a... Is this a second shot or is this a different helm? I'd have to compare now, but whatever. We can end on this one here. I think it's... Oh yeah, it's a slightly different helmet, isn't it? So... Or maybe that's the shield. That's probably the shield too. It's true. Good point, Druid's Fire. I have not brought that up yet, but we had a problem yesterday. And the problem wasn't me. The problem was that our sales were being roadblocked by a technical issue, which also roadblocked our ability to open Dungeons & Dragons Online after its patch yesterday, among other things. So we had a whole bunch of computer and such issues inside of the office yesterday, and as a result, we were not able to publish yesterday's sales. So instead, they're getting... Actually, I believe they were published as of about an hour ago, and I've been busy preparing for and now doing this broadcast. But as soon as this broadcast is over, all this is going to go on the website and such as well. Currently available inside of the game, but we do have our weekly sales as well. And it ain't going to kill you to wait a minute, but I can tell you, in fact, what they are, which is make your piece of Middle-earth shine at 25% off, and then Violets R is the coupon code, and that'll go live. Oh, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. But yes, it is also running through next Friday as well. Can confirm the Spirit Bearer and Little Tundra Bear are account-wide. One thing that is not is the Blue Dragon portrait frame. If you want that for 5 characters, you need to donate enough for 5 of that. Yes, that is true. So I get what comes to me, and I do encourage us to generally go with account-wide when we can. However, there are some things, perhaps to be consistent with item type or other considerations, that sometimes make it not bound to account, and I believe the portrait frame is one of those. However, you can donate as much to get as many as you want, and I tend to be pretty generous with that as well, if necessary. I try to avoid... All it is what the item ever was. Typically is the actual answer for the community loot list, is that it's a repository for things that perhaps over the years got orphaned. In some cases were made for it, but in most cases were not. And so they've inherited whatever properties the original itemization had. And that's usually the case for this stuff. But like all the titles, I believe, pretty much everything is account wide, except for things that aren't. The Blue Dragon frame being one of them. And I think there's a couple others as well. So the wiki's going to get you covered there. All right. Oh, we had a raid? Oh, thank you, Layriana, for raiding us here earlier on in the show. I have gone through Extra Life. I've gone through the marathon. Oh, here's something I can bring up quick. And that is, we announced a series of rolling bonuses this week. So I'm just checking my game client to make sure I'm still active. And it sounds weird because I'm like, oh, actually, it's going to sound totally wrong. Actually caught something I need to do here. Okay, anyway, I'll take care of that in a second. We're redoing our bonus slate for the month of November to just make it a little more exciting and give you perhaps a little more incentive than the original schedule had as we bridge this gap ahead of the release of Kingdoms of Harad. So, starting yesterday, 25% skirmish marks. Now, that was always on the calendar. However, what's different is all of these bonuses now run until 3 a.m. Eastern on December 1st. So instead of just a week and then going away, we're just building it all up, stacking it up through the month of November here. So 25% skirmish marks began yesterday. Next Thursday, 10% virtue XP, 25% crafting XP, and the return of the Spring Festival. The Spring Festival is coming back starting next Thursday. It's the same as it was earlier this year. It's a redux of the exact same event, and it'll continue as well until 3 a.m. Eastern on December 1st. Then, on November 20th, we're adding in a 10% loot box Embers and Moats boost, and November 26th will be 25% XP. And that's, for some folks, quite a long weekend, is it not? So, good time by that point to be getting 25% skirmish marks, 10% virtue XP, 25% crafting XP, 10% loot box Embers and Moats, and 25% XP along with the Spring Festival. So I think and then of course we'll have our Black Friday sales happening as well, per usual. So it should be a pretty exciting couple of weeks here in terms of bonuses and in-game events and things like that. And I think I have covered the news. I noticed in terms of public events, where is that now? Here we go. Let me see if I can get this on real quick. There's a whole bunch of player events in addition to our Extra Life Marathon happening this weekend. I'm not really prepared to talk too much about them because I didn't get it ready, but I did see this on the forums, which is our second annual Farm Animal Show. This is happening on the 9th, so this Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And this will be in the Lindleby homesteads of the Shire, and this is on Meriadoc. So that'll be happening this weekend. Big Farm Animal Show. And this, not the second one. And I remember the first one was really awesome. So maybe want to go check that one out. Also, Lizzie wants to say hello to the live stream. Well, that's what you get for meowing. That's what you get for meowing into the microphone. Yeah, how you doing? You want to say hello to everyone, huh? What's going on with you? Oh, I see. Yep. Yeah. Well, she clearly has opinions about probably the state of her food dish. So, oh, I'm correct, huh? Yeah, that is the problem. So, anyway. I will perhaps take care of Lizzie here in just a second. Do we have any questions in chat then before I head inside of the game? I just quick note that this background and the background you saw on our coming soon screen are some landscapes coming in Kingdom of Harad. Got some just general static style moving landscape video. This one doesn't have much movement just because of the nature of the environment. But if you saw the coming soon screen one, you'll notice that the mist was doing its thing and what have you. So you will get... it's a good thing that Lizzie is not a game dev, because she would probably be bribed by Salmon Treats. Just saying. I think we know this to be true. Okay, let me solve my computer problem, which is I wiped all my computer settings for my Lotro game client yesterday. And the reason for that is I'm getting a new computer. It's not a personal computer, it's a work computer. But starting, ideally, I believe, next week, we are going to probably have me running on a new computer. I think I'm going to be using my day off on Tuesday to get it set up, if I can. And assuming everything goes well, we're going to be in a state of new computerness for the live stream. Now, this is this is a little behind the scenes, and I don't usually talk about it, but I actually have more than one computer for my work from home setup here, and this is pretty common, I think, in a lot of game development situations, where you perhaps have one computer that is set up for certain elements of the development environment that other computers do not have access to, like perhaps a personal PC or something like that. And that's the case here. But the reason I've used my personal PC for live streaming while we work from home here is because it was better, a lot better than the kind of office style work computer that I had for that necessary work that required it. But so instead, because of this whole Windows 10 thing, or my personal PC can't run Windows 11 because I don't have all the bits that it requires. Because I bought this computer in 2019 and bought up and got a real nice computer that's held rock solid for 6 years, going strong here, because it still has a 3060 in it, 32 gigs of RAM. So I think it's a i7, i9, something like that. Whatever. Plenty good computer, except it doesn't run Windows 11. And that's a problem for game development and this live stream setup and everything like that. So instead, I'm getting a new work computer that is going to do the functions it needs to do, in addition to being the actual stream computer again. And that's got a 4070 Ti Super on it. So that'll be better, I think. We'll find out. But in the meantime, this computer then, because it can't take 11, I'm just going to keep Windows 10 on it for a little bit until I can fully put together everything I need to do. But I'm cleaning off this hard drive. I'm doing all the work to wipe everything, because this weekend I'm either going to wipe it back to Windows 10 with a fresh install, or I think I'm going to put Debian Linux on it. And then this PC is going to be a Linux computer for gaming and personal projects and things like that. But I don't quite have that much of a deadline, because I think Windows 10 is still fine for a little while, even if it's technically end of life. So we'll see. But that's what's going on in Cordo's computer world. So it's been a busy week. But as a result, when I was moving over stuff into portable hard drives and wiping things out, I actually wiped out all my settings, because I took care of everything that was in my documents. And let me tell you, discovering that you have to reset all that stuff up about 10 minutes before you go live was like, oh, dummy. Good going. Good going. So if the sound and such is a little weird in today's game client, that is why. Because I messed it up by messing with my computer. Well, I don't know about a 5070. I mean, you know, my son last night was like, yeah, cool, you're getting like a mid-range card. And like, a mid-range card? I mean, yeah, I guess technically by spec it is. Well, I don't know if you looked up the price of a 4070 Ti anytime lately, but that ain't a cheap video card, so I'll take it. What am I actually doing inside of the game? Is that we've largely gone through the story of Crown of Hamat, and yet there's a whole bunch of places in recent content that I've just never been to, because we never really had a reason to go there. So just like last week, where we found ourselves in a bit of a corner of the map, I am finding myself in a little bit of the corner of the map over in Urishtar, and I happen to notice there's a quest NPC here that has me going down by the river. So I think we'll just check that out a little bit, and then if I get bored, if it ends up being a little not stream friendly or whatever, then I'll move over back to doing missions, which is one of the other things I'm doing right now, is delvings, because I want to get my delving wrappers and such done. And that's really what I'm up to in Locho these days, last couple of weeks anyway. That and wrapping up the festivals. Also, I think my audio, at least for me, my game audio is too loud. I think I need to turn it down more. Let's try that. It's all AI's fault about the price of GPUs. Well, that doesn't surprise me, but that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but whatever. GPUs are needed for a million things these days. Nonetheless, I don't consider a $900 to $1,100 video card to be mid-range, because I don't think your average person's spending that much on their video card. Gamers are. Maybe us crazy gamers are. But, in general, ... let me see. If you want something from both, presumably that being both Dungeons & Dragons Online and The Lord of the Rings Online, do you just fill out the survey for each? Yes, that's fine. And do you just split the cost? Yeah, that's fine. There's a section in the survey which is really just an open comment field, and that takes care of really anything else that needs to be taken care of. Because the way I do it is I will just go individual by individual through the survey. And I'll plug in the email address, and I'll go down to what you picked, and then I'll plug it over from a spreadsheet, add it to a bulk email, copy paste, send it. And that comment section is where it's like, I want 3 of this, and then 4 of this, and 2 of this, or perhaps, hey, can I split this donation and also have you email this code to this person, or whatever. There's a whole bunch of circumstances that come up, and I had a person on one of our games this week actually comment. It's like, well, I mean, I like Extra Life, but I literally live in like a part of the world that is very, very far away from you. Would you mind if I donated to my own local hospital? And typically, if you kind of just reach out to me, we'll make exceptions. We'll sort that stuff out. Right, this is about doing good, and it doesn't really matter to me, so it's fine. Also, I'm taking the Cordovan route, in case you noticed here. Here we go. Surely it's not going to cause me any trouble. So, let me think then. What else should I talk about? So, I'm not going on until, 6 o'clock here on the Lotro stream side, but I will be in chat pretty much all day and all night. I'm just going to have this computer running all day, and yeah, I got stuff I need to do, like put some plastic up on my old house windows and perhaps even clean a bathroom or 2. But I'll be in chat, we'll be helping with giveaways, I'll be pretty accessible all day, and then I'll be taking a shift in the evening on the Lotro side. But on the DDO side, I don't know why I agreed to this or how I found myself in this position, but I agreed to start at 7 a.m. so that we could have, because everything on the schedule was all full on the DDO side, and it was all full on the Lotro side, and Lotro starting at 7 a.m. And otherwise, DDO wouldn't start till 9, so I was like, oh man, alright. I'm doing a 7 a.m. live stream. I am doing a 7 a.m. live stream. I don't do 7 a.m. live. I don't do 7 a.m. for the most part. Because that means I'm going to have to be up at like 6, 5:30. And that ain't happening either. So, except it's happening tomorrow. It happens sometimes when I need to take flights. Sometimes, I got biz to take care of and things. So it's not like I never get up at night. But I am not the kind of person to typically get up at 6 a.m., let me tell you. So it is going to be an amazing day for me tomorrow. You're going to get a side of Cordovan probably by 6 p.m. at night that you don't usually see so much. Yeah, I know, right? When people say, what is the best part about working in video games? That is the best part about working in video games. I know it's very reductive, but it's also perhaps true. I mean, yeah, you're working late at night. But we're all gamers. We're used to being up at night. Not that I want to overgeneralize. There are plenty of gamers who have perfectly reasonable schedules and get up to do all the biz they need to get done. But if you work in games, my guess the number of people who are getting up early to rush to work is because you have to rather than because you want to. Yeah, see, normally for both Lochro stream and all these streams, because we have streamers who are in Europe, and they're roughly 6-ish hours, 5, 6, 7 hours ahead of us, depending, they can take the morning shift, and it's not an early morning for them. And then we have a few streamers who are morning people, just because of life and work and personal preference. And so we do have morning shows and that as well. But a lot of times our morning stuff are people who are in time frames that it's less morning for them. Yeah, I know, I've got the, oh no, I have to get up early once. You know what's funny, though, is originally the plan was I was going to be flying to Extra Life Unlocked this weekend, and those plans just ended up falling through for a bunch of different reasons. But it turns out, just due to the state of airline travel today in the United States, probably it's pretty good that I'm not on my way to a thing through air travel today. I think I might have dodged a real headache there, but it'll be nice though, because I'll be on this computer and able to, I think, better produce both live streams. I'll be there for both the streamers, the chatters, and moderators, people in Discord. I'll be able to get stuff out on social media, do other things. So, and then help. And if I'm just sitting around watching the stream, which really is never a problem, but even in theory, if I'm just sitting around watching the stream, I can just start going through those surveys I've just talked about and start getting people stuff. So there's never a lack of things to do for Extra Life here until it's all done. But it's a good time, and I really do appreciate it. It's a lot of work, and I think in the future we'll probably need to find a better solution on incentive distribution, not just because it isn't 2013 anymore. People aren't really used to waiting around weeks for codes these days, but then also because the system itself is pretty unwieldy. It worked fine when you had maybe a couple hundred people you had to get back to, but now that we're in the 700-800 range, it's a lot more time consuming to kind of do it the old-fashioned way. And so that means we might need to figure out some kind of solution that we can, like, mail merge or something. But then that means, how do you do that in a way that allows you to pick stuff? And so I think we might... One thought that I've had would be perhaps putting together packages. Like, this is a title package, and this is a pet package, and this is a whatever. And then perhaps if I can convince certain developers to do certain things, perhaps we can turn it into like a picker box or something like that. That's a thought I had, is that it could be something like we could look into picker boxes, perhaps as a solution there. It hasn't been fully figured out yet, so well, this is neat. So yeah, you can see we're in areas we have not been, and we're just really going to do that, I think, during the next few weeks here. We'll have things perhaps from Bullroar and elsewhere, and we'll have some previews and maybe even a dev chat or something if we can make it happen during a busy development time. But We're also going to go into the corners of this region that we haven't yet explored and just kind of have some fun before we move on to the next thing. So, okay, so now we are ready to return all the way back to our NPC. So this is going to take a little work, but I could just swim down the river and look at chat, so that'll work. We can do that for a while. Yeah, I don't... So the problem with splitting it out by item type is if you're not careful, you run into the exact same problem, where the problem is ultimately, and I know it's not a problem, but it's a problem logistically, you getting the choice, right? And I wouldn't want... Well, I'd have to think about that. Maybe there's a way it could just be like... $20 gets you the title package, another $20, or this $20 gets you whatever. I don't, but I would have to figure out some way to actually get it all to you. I don't know. I don't know. We haven't quite sorted through all the logistics yet, and that's really the biggest challenge of this whole thing. But some kind of thing in the future. But this year, it'll be fine. I'll just sit there and spreadsheet it out and get everyone all their stuff. It takes a while, though, ultimately. And so if you know someone in your life who's like, yeah, I donated last week, and how come I haven't got my stuff yet? Just let them know that this is a manual process and it takes a while. And it'll get done. You'll get, as long as you filled out the survey and that survey has a valid email address in it, I pretty much guarantee you that you will get your stuff. I would also point out, because I know, as long as I'm talking about it, that there are people who donated earlier this year who filled out last year's survey. It's something I also tend to fail to remember every year, and then say, oh yeah, right. Okay, so for next year, don't do this and figure this out. Close that survey earlier or something. But I didn't, again. And so I've got some people who filled out last year's survey, really mostly because they donated through the year. And if I'm not careful, those people can kind of get lost in the crowd. So one of the first things I'll be doing here is to go through that list and just get caught up on people who donated earlier this year. I probably can't do merch someday, but we don't have the ability to sell merch. We can give things away for promotional campaigns, and we can give things away for, internal marketing. Things like, say, a PAX East player meetup, we can give things away, but we can't sell anything. And whether or not an Extra Life incentive would count as selling a thing is probably an area that we're unlikely to play around with. So there's a bunch of reasons that would be challenging. And then there's also the idea of physical distribution, which is not the easiest thing in the world to always do either. Just ask anyone, any band who's ever tried to press and sell their own record. But, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It is more possible that we could do a Standing Stone Games merch, because that is, a name that is not related to licensing in the same way. So, perhaps. There's always been the question, though, and it's come up, I don't know, a dozen times over the past X number of years. Which is, would anyone actually want a Standing Stone Games t-shirt? I mean, it's one thing to be like, yeah, I want Lotro swag. That I get, right? But as a studio, are you really that big into buying studio merch? Yeah. For me, the reason we would do it, though, would be to work our way to offering Lotro merch. So you would do it to set up the infrastructure, and then you would follow up with perhaps, something that would be more suited to a wider audience. But even then, it's a challenge to get like physical swag operation going. It really is. Come on, let me get up there. Really? 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 No, okay, good.
Oh.
I mean, that's a good point. Like, I definitely know that the number of things isn't zero. And in the same way that I will buy merch from music I like, even if I'm not, like, super into the t-shirts sometimes or whatever, you know, I'll do that. I'll be like, hey, I saw you in concert. I'm going to drop $40 on your shirt, even if I'm not going home and listening to your music. I'll do that sort of thing all the time, just to support the independent operation, the people doing the thing and making the thing. And so I think that some of our SSG merch could be that. And then there's also a minor internal reason, which is that if you've got a set up to dish out new t-shirts all the time, then it makes it easier when you hire new people. You can just fill out an order for a t-shirt and things. So there's not zero reason. But the idea of actually bringing it to fruition, having someone manage that process, document the process, have all the whatever's in place, tax profiles and things like that that you need to do to register through some kind of third-party contract, and then set up the storefront and manage it and all that. It's a project. It's not a small project either, and it's one that to date has never really gotten more beyond the discussion of how it could be done and what it could mean and what it could do. Very little practical progress has been made, I would say. Okay. I am glad for your return. What were you able to find? I tell Adaki about the large footprints along the river and the base of the waterfall. It seems you found true signs of the Adami. Our research was correct. These footprints you describe sound as though they could not belong to any man and lead to the waterfall. This is what the tales speak of, but we could not find a dwelling around the falls. I must take some time to read over your research again with this new information. Please return when you can, and thank you for your help.
Ah, you are here. I
Okay.
believe I have unraveled the clues you discovered.
In Arshan, in the falls of Iluritu, Iluritu, are meant to be read directly. Within the waterfall, behind the falls itself, go look. Okie doke. One of the things on my to-do list is I need a new glasses prescription. My ability to read small white text has declined since I last got a pair of prescription lenses. And sadly, I am in a position of... ain't getting better, put it to you that way. Yes, so speaking of long journeys, I'm aware that we had a Lotro video go really kind of super viral this past week because it went well beyond not just the Lotro audience or even Lord of the Rings audience, but kind of the general wider population. And that is a video. Fortunately, the name of the channel is Retro something something, Retro Computer something. Had a 9-hour Hobbit walk video that pulled in something pretty close to like 400,000 views just all of a sudden. And my understanding of how that happened is it really was about the YouTube algorithm. somehow deciding that people who were interested in Lord of the Rings and perhaps Lord of the Rings related news last week should get served this 9-hour Hobbit walk. And so it eventually hit Reddit and eventually hit elsewhere, but just the idea of someone, doing that walk just popped all of a sudden out of the blue, really, on YouTube, and took the content creator even by surprise. There's the first comment in the video, which is just like, what? Hey, I just literally woke up and this thing has like 276,000 views, right? It was really cool. It was really neat to see that. Emulated vintage gaming. Thank you. Emulated vintage gaming. And it was really neat. It's a cool video. It's a totally well-deserved success. But it's just really interesting that just out of the blue like that, it can pop off. You don't see that very much ever, much less on the Lord of the Rings side, online side. So it was really thing to just sort of be blindsided by it, both as a brand and as that creator. So, that creator, I bet, not only had an awesome week, but, it certainly doesn't hurt us either. So, because those are people who they're not watching our Twitter. They're not seeing our ads. And all of a sudden they know, oh, there's a free Lotro Lord of the Rings thing? Yeah, I can check that out. Where are we? Great question. So I am really what I did is I realized that there was a whole bunch of explorer points on the map that I had just never been to on camera here. And so since we'd run through the main storyline, I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I just really found the empty circles in the Valley of Ikrabon and picked one. And we are over by Shengarish is where we are. And I just hadn't ever been there. There's a quest line there, really having to do with, I guess, don't call it Bigfoot. And now we are exploring. Okay, there's something about not just that it was so long, but the quality of it is so much better than you could possibly expect. It must have taken thousands of hours of planning. Oh yes, absolutely. Like I say, I'm not saying it was some short video that just popped off. It was it's an incredible video. Absolutely well-deserved success. It's also true, though, that I don't think it was ever necessarily going to pop off that huge until all of a sudden the algorithm kicked it up a notch and made it a success. It's real cool. Okay. Can Cord get it? I don't know what I'm supposed to get. Oh, get to the top to do a cliff waterfall dive. Certainly on my admin character I could. I don't know about here, but also because I don't know how many of you have ever been here, because this is a little out of the way. Let's go take a little gander, shall we? What do we got going on up here? Inarshan? Maiden.
Belongs to the Shagani, and
You enter my home not by my song, but by your own curiosity. I'm Inarshan, Idami of these falls. You were either bold or foolish to have done this, but today luck is with you, for I am in need of aid.
I see you wish to help then. Perhaps you're indeed bold instead of foolish.
Okay. Drive away some orcs from the hills above. I mean, if we're doing hills above, the odds of us being able to suddenly reach the parts lower goes up significantly, does it not? So first off, how are we going to get up there, I think is the main thing. How do we get up there? How do we get to the hills above? I have no idea. Probably starts on land, however. So let's take a look at that. All right. Okay, now, yeah, I don't know how in the world I'm going to get up there. Unless I go all the way back down, perhaps, and then... Let's see, it looks like I need to be on the other side anyway. So, let's try the other side. Is there a path over here I'm just not seeing? Throw a pizza to distract the turtles? Okay, there's definitely not a way up here. However... perhaps if we go down a little bit, we will find a path. Yeah, so go back a bit and then kind of come back up. Not... well, I don't think, right? So it's probably on the other side of this ridge, maybe. Okay. It's true. They're severely lacking in elevators in Middle-earth. Okay, well, I'm not up here then either yet. So, keep scrolling back a bit. Up top from the west side. Okay. Oh, so I am on the wrong side. So, that's fine. I can go up here then. And I should be able to perhaps reach it from here. Or not here, but the other bit. Over here. Oh, come on, bird. Leave me alone. Ask Scenario. It's true. It's true. Like I say, this part of the world I had not been. Because that dot was not filled out, so I have no idea where I'm going. But, the general idea, I'd probably just go back to where I was earlier and come up the hill, and then perhaps work my way to the north from there. Oh, it's right across the river from me right now. Oh. Oh, right there. Yay! You're a genius. You win. Nice. And the timing should work out perhaps even okay for me jumping off to end the stream. Oh, but I'm going to have to do some fighting, huh? Well. I can do that. However, I can't take them all, so let me get a little mildly smartish about this. If you haven't seen the news about the Angmar and Mordor updates, which we'll be doing roughly starting December 3rd, then you can find more information about that on Lotra.com. That's some bit of news from last week that is worth bringing up again. It's 12.3 will be the first level cap increase, and we're doing a series of boosts to really kind of get you through the content a little more quickly and easily. Oh, here we go. Discovered it. Locate where weapons are kept and where supplies are kept. Okie dokie. Yeah, we are up by the falls here. This should work out pretty okay. We'll go a few minutes longer. Oh, I understand, Druid's Fire, I know you're in chat. My understanding is that we have a somewhat different Friday afternoon schedule the next couple of weeks. I believe Tolkien Professor is... I don't want to try to... I can't remember whether it's this week or next week or both weeks. But you can let me know. We'll see where we end up. I would have thought this would be where I need to be. Okay, so locate where supplies are kept and locate where supplies are kept. I would have expected that to perhaps be this. There must be a thing I am missing. Well, look at this. This isn't quite the falls I was thinking of. But this will have to do for perhaps an end-to-show stage dive. Surprised I haven't run across those supply crate or whatever. That looks like supplies to me. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yay. So, Corey is being a homeowner today. Next week, both Druid's Fire and Tolkien Professor will be at the Ranger Moot Suite. And that's over, I understand, in Cincinnati. So no show next week, essentially, from either of you. And this week, are you saying that you will be taking over for Corey here in just a couple of minutes? Once I get done? And stage dive my way out? Not seeing a weapons cache. Are you seeing a weapons cache? Oh, yep, here we go. Maybe? Nope. Okay, it must be up back through the gate here. Yes, so if you want to put half of your donation into Lotro and half into DDO, that's absolutely fine. There's a comment box in the survey, and you can just really explain it to me there. Whether you want to put the full donation amount and then just say, hey, over on the Lotro side I want this stuff, and over on the DDO side I want this stuff, that's fine, honestly, because I'll be having both lists up at the same time, and I can just honestly just fill out one survey for both if you really, really want to. But the other thing, if it's more organized, or perhaps you're sending it to different people or what have you, yeah, you just go ahead and in the comment box for the Lotro survey say, hey, I donated 60, I want 30 of it to go to Lotro and get this stuff, and the other 30 can go and be this stuff. And I'll take care of that. Yeah, so we are up to date on Song of Waves and Wind ourselves here, are we not? Oh, there we go. Yay. Good timing. Just a few minutes over, but that's fine. We will do our stage dive and do the best we can. So we're gonna I will do the rest of this, I think, off camera. And we can just sort of see where we want to go. But I think this is... Oh, no, we're totally not making the water here. Is there any way I can get closer? I don't know how to... I don't know if I can get all the way up. So perhaps we're just going to have to make the best of it. You know, I think I'll be fine. So let's do this. Thank you for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe if you'd like to get these videos in your feed. We do this every Friday, noon Eastern. You can find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. Extra Life Marathon tomorrow, 7 a.m. to midnight Eastern on LotraStream here as well. Join us for chats, giveaways. If you donate this weekend, thank you. If you don't and just want to hang out, that's okay too. Have a great weekend, everyone. Oh, actually, one more bit. I won't be here next Friday. Sorry, I forgot about that. I won't be here next Friday. So I'll see you in 2 weeks for more Court of the Rings. Have fun. We're going to do this. All right. Yeah. Oh, wait. That wasn't even bad. Okay, well, hey, maybe we are going to make the water then. We can do this. Yeah. Man, I'm still fine. Look at that. I didn't even... Look at that. Huh. Okay, well. May have ended up in some physics. There we are.